If you're a caregiver, you totally get it. You're constantly putting someone else's needs first, day in and day out. But what happens when you're just empty? Well, today we're not adding another thing to your to-do list. Instead, think of this as your official permission slip to take care of yourself, so you can actually be there for the long haul. So let's just start with a question that's probably going to hit home for a lot of you. Are you pouring from an empty cup? You know that feeling. You're completely drained, you've got nothing left to give, but you know someone is depending on you. Today, we're going to talk about how to start refilling that cup. And really, this is the whole point, right? Think of your well-being like an engine. It's the invisible force that powers everything you do. When that engine runs out of fuel, the quality of care, your patience, even your own health, it all starts to suffer. So caring for yourself, it's not selfish. It's an absolutely non-negotiable part of the job. So let's get real about what this actually looks like. To really understand what's at stake here, I want to show you a powerful, real-world example. Let me tell you about Frank Blood. His story is incredible. For 15 years, he cared for his wife through some really tough illnesses. And through all of it, he learned a powerful lesson. To keep her safe and healthy, he had to keep himself healthy and positive first. His journey really shows us why. And just listen to how Frank puts it. For him, self-care wasn't some luxury, it wasn't a treat, it was a core part of his responsibility to his wife. That simple shift in how you think about it, that's the fundamental change we're talking about today. You know, Frank's mindset is so important because this is what happens when you don't have it. Experts have a name for it, caregiver burnout, and it's a really serious condition. Ignoring your own needs doesn't just put you at risk, it could eventually jeopardize the very care your loved one relies on. Which brings us to a really crucial idea, something every single caregiver needs to hear and internalize. We're calling it the oxygen mask rule. And here's the rule. It feels wrong, doesn't it? It goes against every instinct. But it's actually the most practical and selfless thing you can do. You simply cannot help someone else breathe if you're running out of air yourself. Okay, so enough theory. Let's get practical. We're going to walk through a simple 5-point plan to help you start putting on your own oxygen mask. And these are realistic things you can actually start thinking about today. Okay, so here's the game plan at a glance. Think of these as the 5 pillars of sustainable caregiving. It's all about getting help, finding your people, taking care of your body, carving out break time, and knowing what resources are out there. Let's dive into each one. First step, get everybody on the same page. You really don't have to be the solo hero here. And remember, help comes in all sorts of flavors. It might not be hands-on care. It could be managing insurance paperwork or chipping in for a few hours of professional care. It all makes a huge difference. Next, you've got to build your tribe. Seriously, you don't have to do this alone. And sometimes the best support comes from people who just get it. Find a support group, maybe even an online forum. Just talking to people who are walking the same path as you, oh man, it can be a lifesaver. Okay, this one might sound super obvious, but let's be honest, it's usually the first thing to go out the window. Sleep, good food, a little bit of movement, that's the fuel for your engine. And if you're thinking, I don't have time for that, well, that's where that support system we just talked about comes in. Ask for help so you can take an hour to recharge. And this brings us to recharging. Look, breaks don't have to be a week-long vacation. Remember Frank Blood? He found his little pockets of peace when his wife was watching her shows. The lesson here is to find those small windows in your day. 10 minutes to read a book, a quick walk around the block, and protect them like they're gold. So all of these steps, getting support, taking breaks, looking after your health, they all lead us to our final and maybe the most important pillar of all. You are not alone in this. You don't have to figure it all out by yourself. Help is out there. And this is our 5th tip. Use the resources that were literally designed for you. There are professionals and entire organizations whose whole job is to support caregivers. A great place to start is your local area agency on aging. They can connect you to things like classes or respite care, which is basically a service that gives you a temporary break. And hey, it's not just local stuff. There is a treasure trove of national resources online. Organizations like the Family Caregiver Alliance or AARP Caregiving, they offer tons of information, support networks, and practical advice you can access right from your phone or computer. Okay, let's bring this all together. After looking at all the challenges and the strategies, what's the one big thing you should walk away with from all of this? If you remember one thing today, please let it be this. Every single step you take to care for yourself is also a step you take to care for your loved one. When you refill your own cup, you're making sure you have the strength, the patience, and the energy to keep giving the best care you possibly can. So, we'll leave you with this question. Not tomorrow, not next week, but today. What is one small, totally manageable thing you can do for yourself? Maybe it's a 5-minute walk outside. Maybe it's just making a phone call to a friend. Whatever it is, that one small step, that's where it all begins.